Bodhicitta field and the purpose of this practice. Refuge field, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us, as so loving, caring, and embracing. And for the Bodhicitta field, visualize your two grandparents and all your family members, including your children, and all the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, god and goddesses, spirits, leaving that aside, all the creatures in the ocean, all the trillions and trillions of creatures in the wilderness, and all the beings who are creating so much of negative karma by inflicting pains on others, that they are opening a new chapter of miseries for themselves. So include them in our visualization of our practice. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken our Buddha nature, the seed of perfection within us. For this, we need to know how, first of all, the presence of the Buddha energy within us, and then remove the mental dirt so the golden insight will manifest. And to remove the dirt, we need to know the nature of the mental dirts. And the mental dirt, we see that there are two kinds, gross and subtle. The gross one known as the afflictive obscurations, which stops us from attaining fearlessness, also referred to as the nirvana. And the subtle one stops us from attaining infinite happiness, also referred to as Buddhahood. And how to remove the mental defilements is by resorting to a very powerful remedy. And the remedy lies in the wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom must be supported by the incredibly great enthusiasm of the Bodhicitta, the altruistic intention to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And that to what extent this Bodhicitta that will triumph within you is determined by the degree of the great compassion. And great compassion is determined by to what extent you feel the pain on yourself. And desiring to get rid of the pain yourself is known as renunciation. So renunciation, which should be like the foundation for the foundation for the great compassionate rise. And that serves as support for the bodhicitta as the enthusiasm to use this wisdom of emptiness to cleanse them out of the mental defilements and the Buddha energy within us be awakened. So with this in mind, seeing that this is the purpose of a life, and for yourself, and also to share this wisdom with all the other beings, let us turn to page 3. And through your great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And through your great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And through your great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha.
Chodan sogi chognam la jangju pardu dani kepsu chi dagi jinso gipe sonam ki drola pencher sange drupar sho sange chodan sogi chognam la jangju pardu dani kepsu chi dagi jinso gipe sonam ki drola pencher sange drupar sho Sangye chodan sogi chognam la jungju bardu dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gipe sonam ki drola pencher sangye drupar sho. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, which through the knower of paths causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantata gato hevadat te shanchayo niroda evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantata gato hevadat te shanchayo niroda evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantata gato hevadat te shanchayo niroda evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light, and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, I pay obeisance. The 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma. Likewise, the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Instructions on parting from the 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14, Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the 4 destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O Supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the Tathagata, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of false, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 29, the Heart Sutra. The Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya triple gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on Mass of Vultures mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara. How should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharadvati Putra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unseized, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Tayata Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Samgate Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvati Putra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Ta Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Teata 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 Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed. May they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspiciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Page 35 on 8 verses for training the mind, right? Yeah. With a determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jeweled treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard her, my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast a space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. So the next page, 7-limb practice, an excerpt from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samantabhadra. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you the Buddhas, the lines amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle are Buddhas numberless as particles, each amidst a host of bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering, and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. The short mandala offering. Sashipu ki ju sheng me to tram ri ra ling ji ni de gen pa di Sangye Jingdu Mikte Uwai Trokun Namadag Jingla Chopar Sho. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. The four dharmas of Venerable Gampopa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the dharma. May I be blessed that my dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is freed of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four dharmas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. Becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. The Foundation of All Good Qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to the Guru is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon the Guru with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes after death, just like a shadow follows the body. The results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. So we'll do the meaning of the Miksema verse first. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losang Drakpa, at your feet I make prostrations. Migme se ve ter chen chen rezik drime ken pe wampo jampelyang Ganchen kepe zugen so kapa lozang drape zabla zoade Migme zewe ter chen chen rezik drime kenpe wampo jampelyang Ganchen kepe zugen song kapa lozang drape zabla zoade Migme zewe ter chen chen rezik drime kenpe wampo jampelyang Ganchen kepe Zugen song kapa lozang drape zabla zolwade.
Okay, next we have the generating the mind of consummate yoga, which consists of four parts. The first we do so the basic idea is that the whole purpose of what we gathered here for is to awaken your Buddha nature. And this Buddha nature is like the gold. It is within us, but the only thing is it is obscured by the mental defilements. So our job, meditation, practice, whatever you may call it, it is to remove the mental dirt. And how to remove the mental dirt is by anyone? How to remove the mental dirt? How? With the wisdom of emptiness. So what we learned yesterday is that finally all the mental dirt, somehow the mental dirt, they are connected, related to the ignorance. And the counterforce for the ignorance is the wisdom. So the wisdom is the one which is required to remove the mental dirt. That is the main practice, wisdom. And this wisdom is like the very sharp axe, although it's extremely sharp, but if the person who holds the axe to cut the poisonous tree, if that person does not have the enthusiasm, then even if the axe is so sharp, it does not serve the purpose to cut the poisonous tree. So the enthusiasm must be extremely strong. That enthusiasm is, the best of enthusiasm is enthusiasm of bodhicitta. So bodhicitta is required number 2. And this bodhicitta, to what extent this bodhicitta, you feel the rigor of this bodhicitta is determined by how much you feel the pain on yourself. Then when you feel the pain on others, you see that it's going to be extremely powerful. So the feeling the pain yourself, removing the desire to remove the pain is known as renunciation. So we have the wisdom of emptiness is the main tool to cleanse the mind, the main meditation, then supported by bodhicitta, And this bodhicitta must rest on renunciation. And so with this, these are the three main things when we say practice, we have to think of these three. These are also referred to as the three principal aspects of the path, or the three principal paths. So meanwhile, we see that the main practice is the wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom is like the light. So this light should have two qualities: extremely bright and very steady, very stable. So brightness is like the sharpness of your intelligence. We have to make our intelligence extremely sharp, and then that, for that matter, we are doing these studies, analytical studies. So meanwhile, this light, even if it is extremely sharp, very bright, but if it's flickering, it does not serve the purpose for you to read the books. So we need to make sure that light is very stable. For that, the purpose, we require to build the stability meditation. So we have analytical meditation and stability meditation, or single point meditation. So now we're going to do 5 minutes of the single point meditation. Ready? And the single point meditation, I've already given the instructions, and the body posture, breathe normally, that's fine. And and many of you, some of you, I can see that you are very senior, which means that you have already, by now, you have already chosen the object of meditation for the single point meditation. So you do whatever you want to do, whatever meditation that you have been doing. But for those of us who are new, totally new to the meditation, what is suggested yesterday, that would be very helpful. One is they just counting the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out, cycle 2. Just count the breath for 5 minutes. And the 21 cycles would be like 1.5 minutes. Whereas for 5 minutes, depending on your age and your health, for some, the younger ones, for the, say, 5 minutes, is going to be like 60 cycles. For elders, can be like, for the elders, like my age 50, it can be like 80, 90, in some cases even 100. So because as you age, your body, the breathing gets a little faster in comparison with the younger ones and those with good health, and the duration would be much longer in terms of the length of your breath. So it depends. In 5 minutes, it can be like 60 cycles, 70, 80, and so forth. But when you do that only by yourself, without anybody else with you, then don't do it for too long. Do it for like just 21 cycles, and then you can do this 21 cycles, one session of 21 cycles, and you can do 3 sessions in the morning, 3 sessions in the evening. Okay, and then the most important thing, number 3 and number 4. Number 3, what is number 3? Identifying the errors of meditation. What mistakes can we make in a meditation? Twofold. Broadly speaking, twofold, and there can be nuances, how these two manifest in different forms, but generally speaking, to avoid complications or confusion, one is mental laxity and the other one is mental excitement. Mental laxity is the inactivity of the mind, feeling sleepy, drowsy, lethargic, heavy, sinking. And the other one is mental excitement, overactivity of the mind, where your mind gets distracted. Okay, so these two things, we should make sure that yes, of course, these two things will happen. When they happen, no need to worry, just apply the number 4. What is number 4? Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. These 4 points must be very clear in your mind, particularly number 3 and number 4. We should be extremely, extremely careful. If you neglect point number 3 and 4, then there's no point in meditation. Then better not do the meditation, because that it can build a very bad habit. And later on, to undo the bad habit takes more time than, say, doing a meditation, good meditation. So therefore, right from the beginning, make sure that Point number 3 and point number 4, these two are well taken care of. Okay, so point number 4, the remedies: twofold, introspection, mindfulness. Once in a while, just check your own mind to see if your mind is still meditating or is distracted or in a lax state. Should you see that your mind is in one of these two states, laxity or excited state or distracted state, then apply the mindfulness. So one which inspects your mind to see if your mind is meditating is known as introspection. And once you, with the introspection, once you know that your mind is distracted or in a lax state, then you should apply the mindfulness to bring the mind back to the intent of your meditation. So these two things extremely important. And whatever meditation that you're doing, be it Buddhist meditation or the Hindu meditation, Jain Buddhism, Christian, Muslim, Baha'i, Sikh, Zoroastrianism, whatever meditation that you're doing, make the point number 3 and 4, these two are so important. Okay, ready? 5 minutes. Okay. Next, for the renunciation, we use the 4 seals. For renunciation, there are so many methods, so there's so many techniques by which to generate renunciation. The practice of lamrim meaning the stages of meditation, that is very common for the practice of renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom emptiness. What we do here is directly taken from the Buddha's own teachings, and which is the foundation, which is being used as the main manual, even in Lamrim and all the other texts. So with this mind, the 4 seals, which we already read before, is going to be like guided meditation. Guided meditation, which means that you just flow your mind according to the instructions that I'm giving you, and try your best to invoke the respective experiences, and don't try to correlate what you are hearing now with what you've learned before, what you've read before. Just try to invoke the experience. Correlating is analysis, and then you cannot invoke the experiences. Then later on you can correlate. Later on meaning after this practice, then you want to correlate. Oh, today I heard something different from what I learned before. And so for all these things you can do later, not now. Here, just try to take every the second to invoke this experience as much as possible. And of course, we can't expect within just a single day to invoke the experience. The practitioners, they spend years and years in the mountains just meditate on the 4 seals to invoke this experience. It takes them like 4, 5, 6, in some cases 10, 20 years to experience to invoke the experience. So we can't really invoke the experience instantly, but we emulate, we try to mimic that we experience, invoke the experiences, and then later on. So this is like more like the basic foundation for us to know that, okay, later on, so whatever age that you are now, age 20, 30, 40, anyone who is below 25? Anyone below 25? 1, 2, okay, 2, okay, so only 2 until 25, and then let's say 30, 40, 50, so whatever the lifespan that you are lived with. And let's say people, particularly attending such retreats, they become so interested in this, finding out the new purpose of life, and they oftentimes ask the question as to how to carry forward this practice in a life on a daily basis. So what we are doing in the morning, that is actually the complete practice. Complete practice. You don't really require any more practice. If you can do this much, if this is too much, some people even a part of this practice, like the single point of meditation, many people they just do this single point of meditation, and some people the four seals just spend on four seals years and years. For some people, bodhicitta, and for some people, the wisdom of emptiness. So even each of these practices, the is so rich that to invoke the real experience require a lot of time. So let us not be too ambitious in ways that, okay, I want everything right now within a short span of time. If this is our attitude, then the great earlier masters, they say that this is an indication that the person is going to leave the practice altogether very soon. So this is one thing, and then additionally, then you may receive some, the teachings or empowerments and so forth later on. No hurry. If you hurry into these things, then at the end you will end up with nothing at your hand. So whereas focus on these four: single point of meditation, renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. These four, focus in this four. And if you get a glimpse of emptiness in this life, it requires a lot of studies and extensive reflection and meditation. If you glimpse, if this is incredible, huge success and the reward for you in this life of this practice, you'll feel that this is now I found the purpose of my life. This is the purpose of life, and it's not only for this life but for the future lives also, to attain I have now got the tool to be liberated from samsara. So one thing, and then the bodhicitta. If you the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of the sentient beings, when you just start to even feel a tinge of this experience, will give you so much of courage and strength. Is so beautiful. You see that. So these two things, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama oftentimes clearly gives the conviction, confidence in us that if you could get a feel of bodhicitta in this life, guaranteed next life is guaranteed that it's going to be extremely meaningful, purposeful, and the wholesome. So there are so many things that be done, and then whereas if you really say digging too many wells, you will never get water. So the point is that our life is extremely short. We never know. Even this, whatever lifespan that we're left with, how long we live, even that we are not sure. It doesn't mean that the younger ones will live longer, elders will live the shorter. No, we never know. Sometimes, unfortunately, even the parents, they have to, cremate the body of the children. This is very unfortunate. Things can happen anytime. We never know. So the what life the will take you, where, in which direction will take you, we never know. So therefore, the point is that just focus on these points. These are and then use your common sense to say these are really it makes sense. And finally, be kind to yourself and be wisely kind to yourself. Okay, so with this in mind, on the four seals for the renunciation, there's going to be a very quick, because we are not introduced to these four seals fully. So therefore, we're going to do it very quickly and just follow the instructions and try as much. And even if nothing comes to your mind, don't worry. At least you become familiar that, okay, these are the four things, how we meditate. We learn these things, and later on, then you take this as a tool for you to practice on a daily basis when you're on your own. Okay, ready? Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce the miseries. It is not to renounce the happiness, but to renounce the miseries. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. The Buddha taught, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. Hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat. What these causes are is taught by the Tathagata. Tesham chayo nirodha evam vadima shramana swaha. Bring an end to the cessation, bring an end to the cause of these miseries is also taught by the great seer. So the Buddha indicated that all our miseries, any undesirable feelings, sadness, depression, anxiety, and so forth, the pains of losing near and dear ones and so forth, all these pains should necessarily come about by depends on their respective causes. And the causes, while they are contaminant karmas, afflictions, the root of the causes, the Buddha identified it as the ignorance. And while they are innumerable versions of ignorance, Buddha identified 4 kinds of ignorance, which are more directly related to our miseries. The first one is misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent, misconceiving miseries as happiness, misconceiving impure things as pure, and misconceiving what is selfless nature as of selfhood. To eradicate these 4, to combat these 4 misconceptions, the Buddha taught the 4 seals. In the first 3 seals, therefore, the remedies are taught, and the fourth seal as the the conclusion. First seal, all composite things are impermanent. And impermanence is of 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross, the impermanence whose continuum terminates. 2023 came to an end. The March of 2024 already came to an end. The continuum stopped. So impermanent phenomena whose continuum stops is known as gross impermanent. Subtle impermanence is a momentariness. Momentariness is what marks all the impermanent phenomena. So all impermanent phenomena should necessarily have the nature of the subtle impermanence. They are not subtle permanent, but they have the nature of subtle impermanence. For example, I have body, I'm not a body. I have hands, I'm not a hand. Likewise, all impermanent phenomena should necessarily have the quality of the momentariness, subtle impermanence. And the gross impermanence, like our life, our youth, the festivities, the happiness that we experience, the birthday parties, and so forth. And what we experienced thus far, they're all gone. And then miseries follow this reality. And the Buddha taught that what gathers separates, what stands for, what is accumulated exhausts, and what is born dies. This is reality. And our 200 years ago on the planet Earth, population maybe like 4 or 5 billions, today 8 billion human beings. Were those people, some of them your age, some of them younger than you, some of them older than you, and the parents having the children, having so much expectation on the children also struggling in their life, career, and so forth. Where are these people today? Not even a single person is left today, that is for sure. That's the reality. But it's not that we are fortunate and they are unfortunate. No, it's a matter of time. 200 years down the line in the future, 8 billion human beings today, not even a single person will be left then. We fight over the properties, we fight over this or that and so forth. But 200 years down the line in the future, Who are these people who are going to inherit your properties? We never know. Even they will not know who you were, who once they fought over these properties and so forth. Even there is no clue. All efforts is simply they go in vain. And how many of us will be remembered then? Only few people out of 8 billion human beings will be remembered. Almost here, everybody. Nobody's going to remember us. So this is impermanence. And this impermanence, where the continuum stops, the gross impermanence of death, is possible only if there's a subtle impermanence involved within that. The change that you see over the span of 20 years, like say 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, white hairs coming, wrinkles coming in your body, and your body also the stings differently and so forth. So these changes are happening not overnight. Changes being introduced year by year. The change that you see in a year is possible only if the change that is happening on the monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis. So from looking at from that point, we see that our body, we seem so static, stable. The walls of this hall look so static, stable. No, all impermanent phenomena should necessarily be moving, changing momentarily, second by second, millisecond by millisecond. If you can see, our eyes are so gross that our eyes don't see this obvious change. The change in the hour hand is possible only with the change in the minute hand and second hand. And the hour hand, we don't see that it's moving. Only after 1 hour you look at it, you see that the hand has moved. But you keep looking at it, you see it's like it's very static. No, actually it's moving. Our eyes are so gross limited that it has so much of limitations that it cannot see the subtle changes. So only when you see the change on second level, you see that it's moving. Tap, tap, tap. And the millisecond is so fast. This is how all composite phenomena should necessarily be moving at that pace, so fast. It's as though like that we are thrown into a very fast moving train by a stranger in the train platform. And faster the train moves, the more the fear that we have. We don't know where this train is taking us. Who decides where this train takes us? The train driver. In our case, the train driver is a mind. And a mind, when the train driver is dictated by the terrorist, he'll take us to the slaughterhouse. And while if it is the mother, it'll take you to a picnic spot. Unfortunately for us, it is like the terrorists. Our mind is under the dictate of the two terrorists, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. As long as our mind is under the dictate of this, the worst of contamination, which is self-grasping, ignorance, seeing things so object real, it'll only take us to miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things are suffering nature. What is contaminated by the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude will only take us to miseries. Miseries like what? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, the loss of near and dear ones, the acute pain of separation, and so forth. Yes, one moment of such a tragedy is good enough to nullify all the past moments of the merriments, festivities, birthday parties, and so forth. Yes, that's true. This is what is meant by the all contaminated things are suffering nature. Yes, I understand it. When will these sufferings stop? 2023 stopped on its own. But these sufferings will never stop on their own unless until we put concerted effort. What kind of effort is required? We require the correct effort and rigorous effort. Correct and then rigorous. What do you mean by correct effort? So no matter how much effort you put, if it is incorrect, no benefit. Squeezing a handful of sand with expectation for the oil to come out, it never comes out. So we should put the effort. So correct effort is the remedy, the wisdom to be introduced to remove the darkness of ignorance, knowing that ignorance as a root is the mastermind of all the miseries. Okay, what kind of wisdom is required? The wisdom to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. So just imagine that since time immemorial till now, we have been in a sleep, not unconventional sleep, unconventional dreams. All the miseries that we go through, they're part of this unconventional dream. Every time you wake up from the conventional dream, your miseries in the dream stops. Likewise, every time we wake up from the unconventional dream, our miseries in the unconventional dream stops. But thus far, we have never woken up from the unconventional dream. So, how to wake up? So, this is what we're going to learn for the next the retreat. So, just imagine that we wake up. Just as we wake up from every day, from the dream that we have every day. Imagine that we wake up from the duration of the unconventional dream from which we never be woken up thus far, and today we are woken up. All our misery, stress, tension, depression, and they dissolve. Just in this experience. Waking up from the sleep of ignorance, all our miseries dissolve. This is what the Buddha indicated as transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Just try to generate a very strong feeling. May I soon wake up from the sleep of ignorance where all my miseries of samsara dissolve. That desire to wake up from the sleep of ignorance so that all our miseries dissolve is known as renunciation. Are you with this mind? As a part of the Bodhicitta practice, let us just quickly do the 4 immeasurables. Ready? Okay, 4 immeasurables, particularly with the 4 immeasurables, you may feel that the instruction that you're trying to follow and your innate thinking, these two don't really resonate. But don't worry, because they don't resonate, this is known as the practice. This is known as training. For example, when you practice the keyboard, the music, and you mimic the teachers, but however much you may mimic teachers, still there's no music. It's only noise. You are supposed to be creating music, but only noise comes out. With more and more practice, then gradually it turns out to a very beautiful music. So this is exactly what is happening here. Initially, the instruction that you are trying to follow and what your mind naturally thinks, these two really go in the opposite direction. And you may feel that what I'm doing is so superficial, it's not real. Yes, it is superficial. Because it is superficial, we need to practice to make it natural. So keeping this in mind, let us not give up. Just keep practicing this to eventually make a beautiful music of the compassion arising within us. Ready? Visualize all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so loving and caring, to bless us in the journey of invoking this universal compassion for all the Dhamma sentient beings. The first immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my Dhamma sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Causes of happiness primarily consisting of the most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness and the most beautiful mind of the bodhicitta. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you're making a courageous commitment, their intense happy and proud of you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectar of very soothing lights towards you and all demonstration beings, The mere touch of light and nectars with the body brings yours, instills in all happiness and causes happiness within you and all dimension beings. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the dimension beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dimension beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering? May all my dimension beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dimension beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consists of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, their intense happiness and proud of you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send forth. Nectar is very soothing light towards you and all dimension beings. The mere touch of light and nectar with the body brings yours. Washes away all the miseries and cause the miseries from dimension beings yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all the dimension beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Okay, for today we'll do just the first 2 immeasurables. Just try to abide in this experience of the unconditional love towards all the beings which you have generated in the form of 2 immeasurables. Immeasurable loving kindness and immeasurable compassion. With folded hands, let us make a bodhicitta commitment 3 times together. It may not resonate with your innate natural thinking. It doesn't matter. This is what we call as practice, and eventually you will see the unbelievably a beautiful amount of the bodhicitta. So I'll say this line of bodhicitta commitment, and let us all say this together 3 times. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Okay, slowly transform this incredibly beautiful Mara Bodhicitta which you have generated now into a spotless clean moon disk, 1 inch or 2 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting with the heart. Oh, it's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all dimension beings. But keep in mind that no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. But I'm not a handful of sand, I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out. I have the Buddha nature within me. With a concerted effort, Buddhahood will manifest in the form of total fearlessness and an infinite happiness experience, which the wisdom of which I can share with all my dimension beings. Yes, that's amazing. But remember that since time immemorial, that your Buddha nature never awakened. And today, what makes you think that this can be awakened? Yes, it's all because that since time immemorial till today, I'm being deceived by the 2 demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. Today, I'm disillusioned by these 2 demons. I'm going to do everything to exterminate the 2 demons. What am I going to do to exterminate the 2 demons? I'm going to introduce an extremely powerful counter force. What is that counter force? The wisdom of emptiness. What is the wisdom of emptiness? But of course, we are yet to be introduced to emptiness. But let us just invoke the spirit that may I wake up. Emptiness meaning that what I see is not real, is empty of being real. Just as you wake up from the dream and you see that the contents of the dream, they were all just empty, they're not real. The moment you discover that they are empty, not real, all your fears in the dream dissolves. It doesn't mean that dream is non-existent. Dream exists, but dream does not exist as real. Everything exists, but they don't exist as objectively real. They exist. Cause and effect exists. Everything exists. You do good things, happiness will follow. You do bad things, miseries will follow. The efficacy of cause and effect is operating, but not on the objective level, on a subjective level. So subjective level meaning that it's like a dream. The moment you discover that, just as the dream fear dissolves, all the fears of samsara will dissolve. Just generate the feeling that may I wake up from the sleep of ignorance as soon as possible. So imagine that you have now woken up. Just imagine that. And later on, over the course of 4 or 5 days' time, we will be introduced to emptiness, and then you will get some sense of what it is like. For the time being, just think that I'm woken up from the sleep of ignorance. All my miseries dissolve. Okay, this realization within you that I'm woken up from the sleep of ignorance, that realization slowly transform that into a spotlessly clean, white, thumb-sized white vajra, vertically sitting in the monastery of the heart. Okay, now you have the moon disk, symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta, the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of demonstration beings. And the Vajra is symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, the non-dual wisdom of emptiness of the Arya Bodhisattvas, which will guarantee that all your mental defilements will be removed with the help of these two, the combination of these two. Wow, that's amazing. Meanwhile, let us not forget that your dear sentient beings, all your dear sentient beings are suffering terribly because of that they lack these two bodhicittas. But the incredible and the compassion towards beings, imagine that your compassion invokes the Yuvajra to multiply infinite number of times. Share one side of the Vajra at the heart of your mother, one side at the heart of your father, one side of each one of family members, including children, one side of each one of the beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddess spirits here in Thosamling, in India, in our own country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe, all the creatures have the Vajra that you have shared with them. Amazing. So, with this in mind, let us turn to page 50, page 50 of the book. Page 50, we'll recite these verses together. The first verse, I'll quickly explain. Okay, I'll explain all the 3 verses today so that from tomorrow we don't have to go through the explanation. This journey, our journey is the journey of enlightenment, that I want to become enlightened for the benefit of all the sentient beings, in which means that you gain the perfect state of attainment for yourself, perfection of goodness for yourself, and perfection of goodness for all the other beings. So that is known as state of Buddhahood. And this is a journey, this is the most important journey in the entire universe. And today you have found now you have found your task. My task is to undertake this journey to attain Buddhahood, no matter how long it takes, this life, next life, whatever the number of the lifetimes it takes. This is my journey. You have now found the journey. And because that this is a journey which you have never undertaken before, as such, we need incredible support. And great is, for example, like you coming from other countries to India, if you have no idea what India is like, and then the first time coming, naturally you will look for help, assistance Anybody who has actually been there, you seek the advice as a guide. So likewise, the best of the support for this journey of enlightenment is the triple gem. So the first line says, I go for refuge in the triple gem, the first line. Then this journey involves the road. And if the road is blocked by the fallen trees and the boulders and so forth, again, you cannot undertake the journey. This road is none other than your own mind. Your mind it's not external journey, it's a mental journey. Your mind is the road. So this road of the mind, must be cleared of the mental defilements like the falling trees, the boulders and so forth. So how to remove the mental defilements within effectively within a short span of time is by confessing the negativities. So the second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is very clear, but if your car does not have fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. So the car is none other than your own mind, and your mind, the car of your mind, requires enough fuel of the merit accumulation. So how to accumulate merit or the virtues within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of other beings rather than being jealous of others' virtues. So the third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of other beings. So now that you have incredible support and the road is clear and your car is enough fuel, what kind of journey are you going to undertake? The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart, the journey of Buddhahood. So now we have found our life, the purpose of this life, not only for this life, but all the lives in the future as well, till we attain Buddhahood. So this is the first verse. Let's say this wholeheartedly, say this 3 times. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The next 2 verses is by invoking Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be here to you. And then the first verse is that in the history of the humanity, is there somebody who succeeded in this journey? Flipping through the history of humanity, we see that there was once 2,500 years ago, there was once a prince known as Prince Siddhartha, and he succeeded in this journey. And now we see that how many, all these 2,500 years, how many billions of human beings, non-human beings, spirits, how many of them, billions have been benefited out of this the person having completed journey and being awakened and being able to help all of us. So I must emulate I must follow his footsteps. So how did he succeed? He succeeded by creating 2 factors. The first, the factor of the motivation. He generated extremely strong motivation of the bodhicitta, the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, number 1. And the motivation, desire to become Buddha, but you have to do something to become Buddha. So what did he do? Second factor, he engaged in the Bodhisattva practices, 6 perfections, 10 perfections, and so forth. So that makes the Buddhahood to come real. So because of this, that he achieved this state and be able to help all these innumerable beings towards ultimate happiness and fearlessness. So if this house succeeded, I'll also follow his footsteps by creating these 2 factors. 1, the factor bodhicitta, motivation, the bodhicitta. I will also create the factor of the bodhicitta, the motivation. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Then number 2, what? The perfections. Say engaging the Bodhisattva deeds, 6 perfections, 10 perfections, so forth, which includes the wisdom of emptiness. So I will also create these 2 factors. First, create a very strong desire, aspiration to become Buddha, bodhicitta, desire to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, and then materialize this aspiration. I will also create the second factor to engage in the Bodhisattva deeds, which are the 6 perfections, 10 perfections, so forth. Okay, so we'll say this, the 2 verses together wholeheartedly. And although I said wholeheartedly, most of us, if we are not really familiar with the bodhicitta, is extremely powerful, effective quality to your mind. Effective quality. It has to be cultivated. It's not like somebody says that general bodhicitta may have become Buddha, and then it becomes like words. But don't worry. This is how we begin. We begin with the words and practice it. 2 methods. The 2 methods are there. Sevenfold cosmic method and the method of equalizing exchange of self for others to generate bodhicitta. These two methods, we have to practice these 2 methods. Then this feeling will become more and more alive, more and more real. Okay, for time being, just try best to invoke these feelings within us. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and otherwise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta to end the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Just feel the joy over having received this aspiration bodhisattva, the commitment, just feel the joy. We're indeed extremely meritorious that we have generated these thoughts. We see that what is happiness? Happiness is when your mind expands. What is sadness? What is depression? When your mind shrinks. How many of you agree with me that the depression is when your mind shrinks and it feels congested and it's so heavy, it's so like solid. The metal is dragging you down. Whereas the happiness, you feel so light and the mind expands. So here, for all the beings, when you say all the beings, your mind is actually expanding. This is amazing practice where you feel that your mind is expanding, you feel the joy, and then that is actually compassion. So compassion is the ultimate, the secret of the ultimate happiness for yourself and the happiness for others. For example, look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Forever he's extremely happy. Meanwhile, anybody who comes around him, they become happy. Anybody, they just feel like crying in front of him. So this is all because of this, the expansion of his heart, out of compassion, out of the practice of the loving kindness towards the beings, that his mind expands, that is the infinite happiness, and the beings could feel that. They feel so comfortable and they feel so loved, being given the attention by His Holiness. Okay, so so with this we will conclude with the dedication prayer, page 52. I dedicate the merit thus gathered, treasure realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed, from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdomized blinded by ignorance. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata